Welcome back to Vic's Projects, everyone. I hope you're well. Today you join me on a complete side quest. Now, I'm going to leave you to guess what job we're in the middle of. I think it'll be fairly obvious once we start getting into it. But today's job is the exhaust head is on this side. There's a bit of a blow, so we're going to investigate and sort that one out. Oh. Okay, so I think I've found where it's been blowing. You can see on this flange here, that's all covered in carbon deposits. That comes from there, and there is no gasket between them. So, do I just put a gasket on there, or do I clean up this exhaust? Because it is very grotty. Oh, I don't know. Well, can you blame me? This thing looks absolutely disgusting. It definitely needs cleaning up. Now, before we get on to grinding it down and putting some paint on there, we need to get rid of this heat shield. And these bolts look very happy where they are. So, no, don't say it. Positivity, these bolts are going to come out beautifully. Just you watch. Oh, yes. Ah, snapped. Bugger. Well, that two ain't too bad. Well, gonna have to drill that one out, but what's also in my mind is I can't have one bank of the V8 with a nice shiny exhaust. So as soon as my luck is up, let's try and take the other header off. We really are down the rabbit hole now. So, of course, this is crusty and horrible and needs sorting like the other one. However, I don't think this has ever been off. I think this has been on here for 50 years because it's a right bucker to get off. There's a nut all the way down in there, which you can't actually get to, and is fairly rounded now. I was hoping it would just shear off with the sort of access that I could loosely get from the top, but no avail. I have to get it to it from the bottom, I think, but the steering box is in the way. And guess what the steering box is full of? Power steering fluid. Oh. I didn't really want to take that off, but here we are. Well, any hope I had of this being a quick 2-day video has gone out the window. Right, so 10 o'clock last night, I pulled off the power steering pipes, let that drain. That's all drained now. So time to pull these two out and get this steering box out. Oh, also the steering coupling, I got to release that. That was a right pain in the bum because you're right up there, super fiddly with an Allen key, loads of strength and torque needed to get that to go. But anyway, we're there now, so let's get this out. Oh, how is that still holding on? Ah, there's a hidden one. Ah. Ah. Oh. All of that for that one little nut just there. So there's a lesson. Always start with the hardest one, because otherwise I probably would have got all the way through those, rounded half of those off like somebody else has done. Where is it? Yeah, just up there. Yeah. Oh, GoPro stop recording. Now, I know it probably doesn't look like it from the video, but I've sunk about 5 evenings into getting to this point here. So we've got the manifolds off, I've repaired this heat shield, I've also repaired the broken bolts that were in the 2 of these, so there was 3 out of 4 that needed drilling and retapping. And we're not even finished yet because I've got broken studs still in the head that need to come out. Oh my goodness. So, moral of the story is, if you're looking at your car and going, those manifolds, they look a bit nasty, I'll just remove those and clean them up. Stop right there and start thinking, do you know what? I actually prefer Grotti manifolds. I'm just going to leave them. They look much better because that's a much better thing to do than... Oh, God. Right, anyway, we're here. I'm sure it's going to be lovely when we're done. We're just in the depths of despair right now with this job. And do you know what? I am no way going to sit here with a wire wheel and clean these up after all that. So I'm going to send these off to get blasted. And then they'll come back and I'll put some proper heat paint on them. So you'll join me back at that point, I think. With those manifolds looking lovely and ready to go, it's time to get the head ready to accept them. And that means sorting out the studs that we sheared or damaged whilst taking it out. Now, not looking forward to this job, if I'm honest, because things can go very badly very quickly. So, fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Now, what have I done? I've started to, so this one here I'm going to start with. I've cleaned up that stud. I've put a old bolt, or old nut, sorry, on there. I'm going to weld that on. Hopefully that heat will get things to move and loosen up, and then I can just crack that off and pull it out. Fingers crossed that all goes swimmingly. I've got a couple to do, and yeah, we'll see how we get on. Well, that's fortunate. I managed to get all those studs out without snapping them off and leaving them in the head and having to drill them out. That would have been a complete nightmare. So I've replaced the ones that were damaged. I left all the other ones in there because, well, like I said, I didn't really want to risk leaving them in the head. So this is looking beautiful, pretty much ready to go on. We've got a couple of bits to go on with it. So we've got some new exhaust gaskets, and as you can see, these are different on each side. So a little bit of reading around says the smooth metallic side has got to go outwards, and this composite type side has got to go on the actual head. Apparently it's so the manifold can slide around on there. Maybe. Well, that's what they say. I've also got myself some lovely new proper copper nut with the special thing on it. Anyway, the special exhaust ones, so that's good. Now, why did we take these off in the first place? Because this joint here was leaking. So before we put it on, I've actually had a look, and I'll pan the camera around so you can have a look. It's got the actual seal on there, but you know, it's not a very good seal, as we know. So the best thing for it is a little bit of silicone sealant. Now I know you're thinking, Vic, this lives in the bathroom, not an exhaust. Well, think of your silicone hoses for your coolant. Silicone is a really good insulator. It loves to stay pliable and sticky. Well, it sticks, then stays pliable, and it can really take high temperatures. So actually this stuff is fantastic. So I'll just put a little bead around there just to be safe. Now, why am I in the wheel well? Because this guy is better off to go up from underneath rather than from the top. So let's get her in. Way, we're finished and they're in and look beautiful. Now the only drawback is, now that these look great, everything else looks a bit rubbish. But we've already done one side quest. I'm not going on anymore. It's time to get back to my main job. My hands are filthy, so that's it for this one. Now I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I certainly have not enjoyed myself, but it's done now. Anyway, we'll see you next time on Vix Projects.